The next topic on our list in advanced communication skills is rapport. Rapport, however you say this. Rapport is all about resonance. It's all about connection. It's all about clicking, if you like, with another person. Have you ever done that? You ever met somebody maybe for the first time and you just click? What is it when you just click? What usually is happening is you're sharing experiences. You like the same things. You do the same things. You've lived in the same place, or whatever it is that resonates. There's some form of connection. That's what rapport is all about. And great communicators are fantastic at building rapport with pretty much anybody. So how do you do it? And why would you do it in the first place? Well, let me ask you this very simply. Have you ever been in a situation with somebody that you have no rapport? There's no connection between you. And then you want to ask that person to help you or do something? Put it that in reverse. Have you ever not been in rapport with somebody and they've asked you to do something? Do you feel the urge to really help them? Probably not. But what about when you have been in rapport? When you do really resonate with another person? Whether it's something that they believe or just an experience that you share. And then they ask you to help them. Does that make a difference? Of course it does. Rapport is about connection. And when we have rapport, it means that we get along, we help each other more. It makes the world a better place. So how do you create rapport? Well, actually, there's a lot going on with rapport. As I say, it's about resonance. And where do we find resonance? Where can we find resonance? Where can we build stronger rapport? Here's something to remember. You can build rapport with just about anybody. Now, admittedly, with some people, it may take a little bit more effort than with others. But let's think about that. What are we building rapport on? Well, rapport being about resonance is about matching. It's about mirroring. It's about doing the same things. So one element of rapport is to, quite simply, match and mirror somebody else's physiology. Have a think about it. Have you ever been in a restaurant or in a social situation where you, or any situation for that matter, where you've seen two people who seem to be getting on really, really well? Next time you do that, pay attention, pay close attention. What are they doing with their physiology? Are they doing similar things? Are they standing with their arms closed, or their hands in their pockets, arms behind them? What are they doing with their physiology? And are they actually doing the same thing? When you see people sat down, having a good old conversation, and they're in good rapport, what about if somebody's leaning forward, is the other person leaning forward? What about if somebody shifts and changes their physiology? Does the other person automatically do the same thing? What they're doing is matching and mirroring. It's a natural response. We are, as human beings, hardwired to go into rapport. So when it's not happening, when we're not in rapport, can we then create it? And the answer is yes. So next time you're with somebody, see if you can create a stronger degree of rapport by doing some of these things that we're looking at now. For example, if somebody is leaning forward when you're having a conversation, lean forward as well. If somebody is sat back, sit back as well. What you're doing is you're mirroring the physiology of the other person. What about tonality? So if somebody is speaking at a considered and calm pace, and you start talking like this, then there's a mismatch. It'll feel uncomfortable for the other person. So what about matching the pace of their speaking, the tone, the pitch, the rhythm of their speaking, so that actually you're both doing very, very similar things, and just see what that does to the level of connection between you. I've got this wrong on a number of occasions in the past with dramatic effect. I was at a conference once, and in the evening, the person who had organized the conference, who was very larger than life and very loud, I was there with them, and I was also being loud, and we were having a great conversation. The next morning, on the terrace of this particular hotel that we were in, the person was sat there, and they were in a very different mood. And I walked across, and I was still carrying the same kind of energy from the night before. I slapped them on the back and said, "How are you doing?" And they were in a very reflective moment. And to talk about the effect of breaking rapport, well, that was not the right thing for me to do, because I'd completely mismatched where they were at in that moment. I'd got it wrong. And the effect was it broke rapport between us. So rapport doesn't mean that if somebody is like they are in a particular day, they're going to be like that tomorrow. Rapport changes because we change every day. So we would change our behavior to match and mirror the behavior of other people to stay resonating at that same frequency. So physiology, tonality, words, we're using similar words. Feed the same words back to somebody else. Imagine this for a moment. If I say, now just think about a dog for a second. Just think about a dog, whatever dog you're thinking about. And what I'd like you to do is, as you're thinking about that Alsatian, I'd like you to imagine it with a blanket wrapped around it. Now the fact is, if you were not thinking about an Alsatian, you've just had to change your internal representation, the picture you have inside your head, from whatever dog you were thinking to an Alsatian. That's interrupting a process that you have. If I just said, think of a dog, and as you think about that dog, imagine it with a blanket wrapped around it, I'm not changing your internal representation. Similarly, if you use a certain word to me and you say, for example, I found that challenging, and I say to you, challenging in what way? I'm looking to uncover what you mean by the word challenging. I'm using the same word. But if I interpret what you've said, I say, well, I'm sorry you didn't like it. And you say, what are you talking about? I said, well, you said you found it challenging. And you say, well, I love a challenge. What do you mean? I have misinterpreted what you've said by feeding back a different word or changing the meaning of the word. So I am not using the same words as you. I'm not matching your words. So if we want to build strong rapport, how do we use the same or similar physiology? How do we use the same or similar tonality? How do we use the same or similar words? Similarly with words, if somebody is talking about an experience that they've had and you share that experience, you ask them a question about it, then that is going to resonate with them as well. If we ask somebody a question about something that they enjoy or something that they like, they will feel empowered. They will have a more pleasurable experience. They will feel more connection because you've asked them about something that they like. So there are many different ways of creating rapport, creating resonance. Energy is another one. Are you matching energies or mismatching energies? Because anything you mismatch will jar, but anything you match will be like a hand in a glove. And rapport is about resonance.